So this is the second part of the lesson on growth and decay then. So this time we're going to have a look at calculating compound depreciation. So again, just check your prior knowledge first. So we should have been through this already. But the key things there then, making sure that we can change between percentages and decimals, and that you can calculate percentage increase and decrease. So today we're going to be focusing on decrease. Okay, so compound depreciation is where something goes down in value and it goes down by the same percentage over and over again. So the value of a new car depreciates at a rate of 15% a year. So a car costing £24,000 in 2016, and we want to know how much it'd be worth in 2024. Okay, so if we remember from last time then, our formula is that we have our initial amount multiplied by our decimal multiplier. In this case, that will be a decreased percentage, and we raise it to the power of the term that we want to use. So to decrease then by 15%, our decimal multiplier is 0.85. So remembering we always start with 100%. If we reduce 100% by 15%, we're left with 85%. So we're only paying for 85% of the value of the item, and 85% divided by 100 to get our decimal of 0.85. So that's our multiplier. So our initial value then was 24,000. We're going from 2016 to 2024. So there are 8 years between 2016 and 2024. So that's our term that we're going to be using as our index. So 24,000 then times our decimal multiplier of 0.85 raised to a power of 8. So once per year we are decreasing the value. So after 8 years, to the nearest pound, our car is going to be worth £6,540. Okay, if you need to pause the video now, make sure you are happy with those calculations. Okay, so some questions for you to have a go at then. So using the same method, so remember you always start with 100%, this time we're decreasing, so 100% subtract the percentage that we want to decrease by, and it's the percentage that's left that we're trying to find. So we're going to change that to our decimal multiplier, and our power is our term. So how many times do we want to decrease it? Pause the video now, have a go at these questions. Okay, so let's have a look at the answers to these then. So our first one, we had £4,500. We're going to reduce it by 4%, so 100 minus 4 was 96%. Divide that by 100, we get 0.96, our decimal multiplier. And we're going to do that every year for 5 years. So our index is 5. So after 5 years, our car would be worth £3,669.17. Question 2, then we've got another car. This time it's an £8,000 car, and it's going to go down by 5.5%. So again, be really careful when you're subtracting these values. So 100 minus 5.5 is 94.5. Then divide it by 100 to get our decimal multiplier at 0.945, and this time we're doing that every year for 14 years, so a power of 14 gives us £3,623.56. Our £250 laptop then is going down by 16% every year, so a much larger figure. So 100 minus 16 is 84%, so a decimal multiplier, as we can see, of 0.84. For 4 years is £124.47. The washing machine then, £360, going down by 7.8%. So again, 100 minus 7.8. If you're not great at doing that in your head, then please use your calculator. You don't have to do these in your head. So that's 92.2%. So as a decimal multiplier, 0.922, and we're doing that for 10 years. So £159.81. And finally, our new flat screen TV, £2,500. Then it's going down by 10.2%. So 100 minus 10.2 is 89.8%. Change it to a decimal multiplier, raise it to our power. Our term this time is 5, and it will be worth £1,459.90 to the nearest penny. So if you need to pause the video now, just check through those solutions. Okay, let's have a look at a real life question this time. This is something you might want to do. So Alex has bought his phone for £450 and it depreciates at a rate of 16.3% every year. So obviously different mobile phones are worth different amounts, and it's good to work out how much your phone's going to be worth after your contract ends in case you want to sell it and get a different handset. So some of them end up keeping their value a little bit more than others, so we might want to work out which one we should get. Reese has got his then, £320, and it loses 8.9% each year, and David has his for £650 and it loses 23.7% each year. They want to know how much they'll be worth at the end of 4 years. Pause the video now, see if you can have a go for yourself first. Okay, so to work this out then we need to work out for each person how much their phone is going to be worth after the 4 years to see whose phone is worth the most. So we'll start with Alex then. So Alex's phone was £450, reduced by 16.3%, so that left us with 83.7%, so 0.837 to the power of 4 because we're doing 4 years. His is worth £220.86. Reese's phone then depreciates by less, so it started off being worth less and it goes down by less each year. So our decimal multiplier this time is 0.911, again to the power of 4, means his is worth £220.41. And David started off with the most expensive phone, but it does depreciate the most each year at 23.7%. So our decimal multiplier for him is 0.763 to the power of 4, leaving him with £220.30. So at the end of the 4 years, Alex's phone is worth the most. So not by much, a few pence there, but still worth the most. Okay, finally then, a challenge. So the value of a laptop depreciates at a rate of 12% per month. If it cost £800 when new, after how many months is it going to be worth half of its value? So pause the video there, see if you can work out how you would find out how many months it's going to take for it to be worth half of its value. Okay, let's have a look at this then. So to do this, we need to do something called trial and improvement. So we need to essentially guess how many months it's going to take and then use our calculations to work out how many months it will be until it's half the value. So half of its value is going to be when it's £400. So starting off then, I like to start off with just 1 month or one of the units to make sure. So £800 times 0.88, remember that's our decimal multiplier, 100 minus 12 is 88%, divided by 100 is 0.88, and I've said, well, 1 month to start with. So after 1 month, it is now £704. Our target value, remember, is 400. So I can see that that's quite a long way off. So I probably don't want to try 2 months. I want to skip ahead a little bit. So trial and improvement is about using your first calculation to help you as a guide to judge what you should do next. So I'm going to skip then to 5 months and see what happens at 5 months. So Our calculation now, 800 times 0.88 to the power of 5 is £422.19. So I'm much closer now. So as I'm much closer, I don't want to jump too many months ahead because I might miss out the right one. So let's try 6 months. So timesing it then by 6 months, we get £371.52. Okay, there are no months in between 5 and 6. I can see that 5 months is over the value I wanted, 6 months is under. So somewhere between 5 and 6 months, it ends up worth half its value. Now we don't need to find the exact amount of days. We're just finding to the nearest month. So to the nearest month, it's going to take us 6 months until it is worth half of its value. So that's using trial and improvement then to see if we can figure out how long it will take to get to a specific value that we want. These are quite often asked in exam questions, so it's worth having a practice with it. Okay, well thank you. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. Part 3 of Growth and Decay is there for you to click on if you wish to move on to the next part.